Hi guys, it's Kris from KVM Design. I'm super excited because I'm about to interview Desi Creswell again. In fact, I interviewed her last year and it was really amazing. If you don't know Desi, she's a certified life and business coach who helps interior designers stop feeling overwhelmed so that they can create the business of their dreams. She's going to tell us more about that in a minute. Today, I wanted to interview her again because she's an expert on goal setting. And if you're part of our Facebook group, the Facebook group that I'm hosting with Leslie Swink, the Interior Design Growth Blueprint, then you know that our focus this month is goal setting. December is going to be all about strategy. So we're setting goals for 2022 already. And so I thought it would be really nice to have Desi on because she knows so much about it. In fact, she's hosting a workshop on December 3rd. It's called Goal Setting for Busy Interior Designers: How to Hit Any Goal Without Feeling Stressed or Overwhelmed. And because you're watching this on my channel, you're getting 50% off. I'm gonna give you the code and the link so that you can join the workshop. I think it's gonna be really great. If you have any questions, just leave a comment down below. Hi Desi, how are you?
Good, Kris. I'm so excited to be here.
I know, it's been like a year since the last time I saw you.
I know. I don't know what's happened to the time.
I know, and actually, I think you're one of the first person that I decided to interview. A year ago, it's when I started to do interviews, and I thought, my God, this is like the perfect person. Like, she's a life and business coach for interior designers. She's gonna have so much good stuff to talk about. And of course, you know, as I said in the introduction, I started a Facebook group called the Interior Design Growth Blueprint for interior designers and creatives. And this month we're focusing on goal setting, basically. So I thought, you know, I need to interview Desi because she's an expert on the topic. But you can tell us a little bit more about what you do, who you help, maybe the workshop. I mentioned it in the intro as well, the goal setting workshop. And then, yes.
We'll go from there. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So I'm Desi Creswell for any of you who haven't met me yet. And I'm a life and business coach for interior designers. And I work primarily with overwhelmed interior designers who really want to create success that is self-defined and do it in a more calm, sustainable way. And I do that through my group program, Out of Overwhelm. It's an amazing community that has been developed, and it's a blend really of how to and then mindset work, because I really believe you can't have one without the other. And enrollment's actually going to be opening up for that fairly soon. December 6th, enrollment opens, unless you're on the wait list, and then you get early access to the spots. And you can find out more about that on my website, desicreswell.com. And then I'm really excited we're here to talk about goals because I have an upcoming goal setting workshop. It's a brand new workshop that I've put together. And it is goal setting for busy interior designers: how to hit any goal without the overwhelm and stress. And the big piece of this is how to set and achieve goals, because often we talk about setting goals and then the achieving part gets sort of lost in the day-to-day shuffle and spin of the work life, right? Absolutely. And so you guys will all have access to that workshop that's going to be on December 3rd with 50% off. And Kris will be sharing the link to enroll for that. And the code you can use as well to get the 50% off. But I'm really glad we're talking about goals now, because I think often we wait until like January 1st to think about goals. Mm-hmm. And I love thinking about them now in November, because one, we're looking back at how quickly the year has gone and going, wait, what happened to the goals that I set on January 1st of this year? And then also when we wait till January 1st to set goals, we all know what happens at the beginning of January. It's like you dive right in, and then all of a sudden you've either like set a goal quickly and haven't really given it much thought, and then it just sort of gets lost by the wayside, or mm-hmm. you dive into the year and it's months in and you look up and you're like, oh goodness, I didn't ever think about what I wanted to create this year. So
that's exactly why I wanted to talk to you about it now, because I feel like, you know, then there's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas, and then it's January, and everybody starts to freak out because they're like, oh my God, it's January already. What am I going to do this year? And I think it's important
to have some time before, so November is a great time to start thinking about what are your goals for next year? What do you want to achieve? Because then you have a little bit of time to set up like a proper strategy to reach those goals.
Yeah. And also really give some thought to why you're setting the goal that you're setting the goal. Like, where did the goal even come from in the first place? Was it something you heard someone else setting, and so you think, well, I should go do that too? Or is it that you think you're going to like have arrived at a certain point and you think you can feel a certain way when you hit that goal? Like, just taking some time to sit with it and go, do I actually want to pursue this goal? Because if you don't truly want to pursue it, then we lose that motivation for it when it's something we think we should do because that's how things are done.
Yeah. I totally agree. This goal has to motivate you, because you're not going to go through with it already. Otherwise, you're not going to want to work on it week after week, month after month, if it's not something that you really want for your life, for your business. So it's really important to think about, as you said, why you want this, and is it right for your business right now?
Yes, I think that's really important because in the online world that we're exposed to so many different ideas and so many different ways that we could run our business. And some of those things might be ideas that are good for later, but they're not necessarily ones that make sense to implement right now.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I was really hoping we could talk about today, is really constraint in the goal setting process. And again, I think it's a great opportunity to be talking about it now, whether you're looking back at January 1st of 2021, or you're going to be thinking about what you want to set for 2022 and thinking about what's the one goal that I really want to go in on, not what are the 5 goals that I really want to go on. You might have set a lot of goals at the beginning of last year, and now are thinking, oh goodness, I need to like scramble and try and scrap together all the things I didn't do yet. Or you might have a lot of big ideas for the next year, and it's feeling challenging to really narrow in on what's going to make the greatest impact in your business.
I think it's either one of two things. Either you have too many goals and you keep, switching from one thing to the next, without having like proper direction because you have too many goals, or you don't have any, and then you're just, going through the motions, but you don't really know what you should be doing every day, or actually what you should be investing your time and money on. And it's what, some of the problems I ran through myself last year, that I had no clear direction as to what goal I had. So I was investing my time and money on different things that didn't serve what I really wanted to achieve, in the next year. And so I think that's why, goal setting is very important, because when you have a clear idea, you could be doing a million things. You could be redoing your website, you could be redoing your branding, you could be doing a million things, but maybe you're not investing your time and money on what's going to help you achieve your goal.
Yeah. I'd love to talk about both of those pieces and really pick them apart, because so the first one of where you've got too many goals, so many designers I talk to are so resistant to pulling in their focus to one or two key pieces. And so I always want to know why. What's the why behind that? Why are you feeling resistant to just narrowing in on one? Usually it's like a fear of missing out type thing, or like if I only focus in on one thing at a time, I'll never get anywhere. Like there's a bit of a rush to hit the goals, which actually ends up slowing us down. And one of the analogies as I was thinking about this is kind of like if you had 2 plants, like 2 little potted plants, and you only had a certain amount of water to water those plants with. And you really wanted both plants to live because you're like really attached to both of them. But you start watering a little here, you water a little there. Pretty soon, like neither of the plants is in great health.
Yeah.
Because you're dividing the water. And the energy and time that you have in your day is the same thing as the water. It's a finite resource. Like everyone has 24 hours in a day. And when we start to like give a few hours here, a few hours there, it gets really diluted. Whereas if you were to put all that time and energy into growing that one plant or one idea or one goal, we'd see that flourish. And then we'd be able to go to the well and get some more water and then tend to this other plant and see that really grow. And so I think that's a really great visual for thinking about when you're having that resistance to say, wait a second, is this actually speeding me up, or am I just telling myself that this is speeding up my progress? Is it actually slowing me down?
That's a really good analogy. And I think, I mean, if I speak for myself, I think maybe a lot of designers want to set more goals because they feel like, oh my God, if I just focus on this one goal for the next year, then I'm never going to reach, you know, what I really want, like in, you know, 2, 3, 4 years. And it seems like it's not that much to do in 1 year, but you're totally right that when you try to accomplish too many goals, then you're not really accomplishing anything. So
yeah, it's like the
exact
common,
opposite.
yeah, I forget who said it, but you always overestimate what you can accomplish in a day and underestimate what you can accomplish in a year. And I love coaching on time within my group program out of overwhelm, because it forces you to get like real with what's going on in your day to day and how much time you actually have, and be honest with yourself about what your true capacity is for how you want to be living your life. And that really speaks to the other piece, or the other challenge that you brought out, is having no clear direction. And that's so important, because when we have an idea of where we're headed, then we can kind of start to set the GPS. And one of the things that we do in the group is I teach a time blocking method that's paired with mindset, and really planning out your day and learning how to decide what your priorities are, follow through on those commitments, and make sure that what you're doing on a daily basis is aligning with where you want to go. Because what you were describing is lots of action being taken, but the action was kind of scattered, right? It's sort of like the watering of the plants, or like if you were to go on a hiking expedition and you like walk up one side of the mountain a little, and then you're like, oh, but that path looks really good. Maybe I'll go check out that trail. But you never make it to the top. And so when we have that long-term vision for our business, we can start using that as a filter then and say, am I doing something today that's ultimately leading me where I want to go? Or is this really just a distraction?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I use also this analogy of, you know, the GPS. You know, if you want to go to a friend's house, you need her exact address to put in your GPS. Otherwise, you know, you're going to have an idea about where you're going, but you're not going to have a clear direction. So you're going to lose time. You're going to knock on everybody's door in the hope that you're going to find your friends, and you're just going to be very stressed. You're going to lose a lot of time, and you're probably not going to even find her. And it's the same in business. You know, you need to be clear on where you're going, so that then, you know, you have stops along the way, but you're going in the right direction. It's the exact route that you're supposed to go in. And yeah, I think once you're clear, and I love time blocking as well, because otherwise it's very easy to be very busy during the day, do a lot of stuff, but you realize at the end of the day that you haven't really accomplished anything important during the day. So I also do like to do time blocking. I do it at the end of the week for the next week. And then I also do it, you know, a day before. And I just think, you know, what are the top priorities? First, what are the priorities this week? What is the one, like, or two things that I really need to get done this week, that no matter what, they need to get done. And then I start planning out, you know, my week. And I don't know how you do time blocking. I don't like time blocking everything in my calendar, because we know that there's always an emergency, whether it's personal or professional, or something coming up that you need to deal with on that same day. So it was getting me stressed to time block every single, you know, time, and then not being able to do everything. So I just, you know, try to be a little bit, or I leave gaps, but I also allow a little bit more time for, you know, big tasks.
Well, and we talk a lot about that in the program. And actually, just while we're talking about time blocking, if anyone wants to head over to desicreswell.com/planner, you can get a free copy of the Interior Designers Get It Done Daily Planner. And that gives you a head start on the mindset and time blocking piece. And it's a modified version of the planner that I developed that I use in the group program, where you can really run your own experiments and start to see how long do things take me. And how much, that's what I call margin, really, is time that you've allocated in your day where you don't plan anything. So that way, if something really unexpected comes up, then you've got some cushion there to absorb it. And I think, just going back to the topic of goal setting, really your goals just become projects that you can break down into small doable pieces. And that's part of what I'm going to be talking about on the workshop, but then can be filtered in to your day-to-day time blocking. I think that's another challenge that a lot of people run up against is they put these big vague goals out there of like create, I don't know, I hear about the welcome packet all the time, like create welcome packet. Well, that's kind of a big project. You're probably not going to sit down and bang it out in like 2 hours. Right.
Yeah,
so like how, and that's something I teach in the program too, is how to break things down into manageable chunks, because then all it is like, you can grab one of those things, put it on your calendar for the day, and then you're all set and you're systematically moving forward instead of like waiting for that perfect time to arrive where you have all the space and energy in the world to like tackle that big project. And it's the same thing with your goals. Anything can be broken down into projects and then you just start mapping it out.
Yeah. And there's, when you see, do the welcome package, it's such a big project and it's so vague as well that you just procrastinate because you're like, I'll do it later. I really don't want to get started on this because you actually don't really know what you want to put in there, what information you need. And I mean, if I put that in my calendar, then there's a big chance that I'm going to, leave it in my calendar week after week and just say, I'll do it later. It's not that important.
Yeah, because your brain goes into confusion.
Yeah.
And when we're confused, we don't take action. And so like you take that tiny example, right, of like doing a welcome packet, and then maybe you extrapolate that to a year-long goal. And maybe that's like, I want to double my income.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't get really specific with the goal and start to look at what are the pieces that I'm going to need to have in place or things that I'm going to need to accomplish to do that, there's no like touch point with reality of what's happening on a day-to-day basis. It's just sort of this thing you've thrown out there that your brain's very confused about how you're going to achieve it. And you end up in that spin then of just staying stuck.
So how would you suggest interior designers or creatives or actually anyone, because goal setting is for any type of business, how do you suggest that they should start with goal setting? Because some of them are feeling kind of stressed of like they understand they have to do it, but they don't really know how to get started. Like, do you have a method that you use to get started with this and then go into strategy or like breaking it down?
Yeah. And so in the workshop, we're going to be talking about the 5-step process to setting and hitting your goals. So I'll go into that more in depth there. But I think a really great place to start is looking at a 3-5-year vision. Start to think about, like, really let yourself dream about where you want to go. And I find that can be challenging for people because a lot of mindset stuff comes up with it, as in they're afraid they might not be able to reach that goal or they're not sure if they're capable. So as much as you can, set those doubts and uncertainty aside and just let yourself dream about what could be in 3 to 5 years if you could just wave a magic wand. Then we can start to think about, okay, so if that's ultimately where I want to be headed, what would be something that I need to do in the next year to take action on? So then you could think about, if I picture myself 1 year from today, what will I have accomplished? Who will I be as that new version of myself who has accomplished that year-long goal? And then how does that goal support where I'm headed? Because we want to start making changes to our business that is in alignment with where we want to go long-term in the now. So it's kind of like acting as if, because otherwise what happens is we get farther out and then it's like the problems grow with you. So as much as you can, like if okay, you want to have a staff of 12, what are some of the things that you could be putting in place this year in order to support that year-long goal? So that might be something along systems, or it's the way you're going to be marketing your services, or even how you structure your packages or your fee structures. Start to be thinking about what will take me there and then bring it back into, okay, so what could I do in this next year in order to move me one step closer? I think that's a great place to start. And then, of course, breaking that down even further.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, do you break it down then, monthly, weekly? Like, do you set monthly goals?
I'm a big fan of 90-day plans.
Oh.
So quarterly plans. So like, let's just even say I don't know, you need to have a certain set of systems in place. Maybe what you do then is you do a brain dump of every single system you want to have put in place by the end of next year. And that might be some type of onboarding sequence. It might be something for ordering product, setting up trade accounts, maybe even a process for how you market. So you could just do a brain dump of those and take a look at, okay, so I can't maybe do all of these, but which are the ones that are going to have the greatest impact on my business? Pick those. So maybe it is then the system for onboarding new clients. That might be one project that you work on within a quarter. And so then that's part of a 90-day plan that you're going to have. And then you break that down. So what are all the tiny little steps that you need for an onboarding sequence? You might need to first do an outline. You might need to do some research. You might need to talk to somebody else. You might need to write the rough draft of part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. You might need to schedule time to edit. You might need to reach out to a graphic designer. So like you can see how granular I get with this. So that becomes part of your quarterly plan, is you literally just breaking it down into the smallest chunks that become the actual project that you're focusing on.
I really like that, actually, the 90-day plan. It feels like less stressful than monthly plan, right? Because you have more time. There's always a lot of stuff happening, and then you don't get to it. But also because it's quite a big project. So I think that the 90-day makes quite a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it's a great time too. I've got a set of questions that I use every 90 days that allows me to really reflect back on what's happened in the past 90 days, what worked, what didn't work, what I'm going to do differently, and then take those learnings into the next 90 days as well. And I do that, quarterly throughout the year. So that way, any lessons or new information that's been obtained from the past quarter can then be synthesized. So I make sure I'm not relearning lessons in the next quarter. And then anything that needs to be added to that next quarterly plan can be put in there based on new information I may have gathered the last quarter.
Yeah. And so your group program, so I just had a couple of questions about it. So I assume, goal setting is a big part of it, goal setting and strategy. So how many people do you have in the group, and how long does it last?
The program is 4 months long.
4 months.
And it is capped at 16 designers right now.
Wow.
And the way that it works is really a combination of teaching and live coaching. So for the duration of the 4 months, we've got 12 core modules. So we go over things like time management, and then all sorts of things that relate to time management. Time management is like the thing that stirs up all the dust, right? So if you're people pleasing, if you're resisting delegation, if you're not setting boundaries with clients, like all these things become apparent when we start to take a look at how you're spending your time or why you're overextended. So we start off with mindset and time blocking, and then we take it from there. So, there's a full list of all the modules on my website if anyone wants to check those out. But there's work that is sort of learning how to, and then there's all the implementing, and that's where the mindset piece comes in. And we have weekly calls, so that way you can come and get coached on whatever challenges arising, and also have between session support too, where we have an online community where the designers can connect. And then I also am in there daily coaching you as well to make sure that you're continuing to move forward, because this really is a process. It's not I'm going to get this planner and I'm going to look at it for one day and then all of a sudden everything is solved. It's something that we continue to refine and hone. And that's why it's so important to have that ongoing support.
Yeah. And I love the idea of the group coaching, because you're creating a community. And I think it's very helpful for interior designers to hear what other interior designers are struggling with, because sometimes you're like, oh my God, I should be able to do this. Why am I feeling so overwhelmed with this particular problem? And then you see that other designers may be struggling with the same thing. And I think it's really cool.
Yeah. And I think there's something so powerful about being able to witness someone else's brain drama.
Yeah.
When it's not your own, because it's like, you can see, oh, how am I doing this too? But you're one step removed. It's like, when a family member or best friend calls and they're like up in arms about something, right? And you can see the solution so much more clearly. And so to have that opportunity to be witness to other people's coaching is really powerful as well.
So do they help each other during the call?
Not during the call. I'm leading the call to make sure that I'm making the most of their time with access to me directly on the call. Yeah. But we do have a space within the online community where they're able to connect. And it's been really cool to see them support each other there and just even share resources, or this is how I do my spec packet, or this is what I do when I do on a consultation or whatnot. That's sort of the space where that information is shared.
Yeah, it's amazing. So it's the 4th round you're doing already. Is it only, are you doing it twice a year?
It's the 6th round. And yes, I think it'll be twice next year. I'm not sure. I haven't decided. I know for sure we're doing this one, obviously. It'll kick off January 4th is our first call. And then likely I'll do
timing, right?
Yes, that's why I'm doing the goal setting workshop. It's like the kickoff to enrollment opening for Out of Overwhelm. It's also how you'll get some great bonuses on that particular workshop call as well that are related to the program. And I'll be sharing more details about that on the call, but it's going to be really fun. Okay.
So your workshop about, goal setting is on December 3rd. I'm going to add the link below the video, and there's a discount code as well that you've given me.
Yep, friend goals.
Yeah,
you can just pop that in.
That sounds really good. I'm going to add all the links. I don't know if you have anything to add about goal setting. I guess people will have to watch the workshop.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. We had I did a different goal setting workshop last year where I taught the 90-day plan. So this is like a different twist on it. So it'll be really fun. So I definitely encourage everyone to come. And if not, just reach out to me on Instagram, Desi Creswell, and say hi, because I always love just connecting with people.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to add all your links. I'm super happy that you came to talk to me again.
My pleasure.
I wish you all the best for the workshop and the group program then.
Thank you. And it's been so fun to see your business grow too. Several of my clients use your services now, and they're so thrilled with you. So
you're going to have to tell me once I stop the video.
Sneak in a little testimonial there for you as well.
That's amazing. Well, it was nice seeing you, and I wish you a good week, or it's Thursday already, so I guess a good end of the week.
Yes, you too, Kris. It was nice to see you.
Thank you so much, Desi. Bye.